Looks like you're giving someone a blowjob, Treese, back there with this action.
I'm saying, give me a cupcake.
That's what it looked like. All right, I'm going to go to. We are live on YouTube.
Love.
All righty here. Excellent.
Somebody's like, "Where's y'all's link? I can't find the live."
Huh?
Already?
I
They're already waiting. Where's the
it
link? I can't
is
find the live.
it is live now.
Tell
It's
them
live
if they
now.
would have subscribed, they would have got a notification.
Yes, tell them subscribe. We've got people coming on. Lovely. Come on in the studio, everybody. All righty.
Bam. Oh, let's mute that.
All right, there we go.
All right, there we
There we
go.
go. Okay. And I heard that all the way back here. All right, let me put her live on TikTok here. Oh,
Hold
okay.
on, I got a thing saying my browser's prevent me from recording.
Okay.
So I think I'm gonna have to step out and step back in.
Okay.
All right,
Come on in the
we are.
studio, guys. You know how we do it on Brown Sugar Confessions. Come on in. We got some guest hosts tonight. We're going to talk about grown folk stuff. Come on in the studio to Brown Sugar Confessions. It's going to be a good time. I'm excited for tonight's show. I get to see this beautiful couple in almost a month. Wow.
Me too. I'm excited too. I've heard stories and I want to hear them again.
Oh my God. I did share stories, didn't I? I did share stories. Come on in here, YouTube. I love it. You guys are popping on. I love it. Come on, TikTok. I'm going to bring you on in a second, TikTok. Come on in the studio. You're going to have lots of questions tonight. You know, we are a channel that talks about relationships and intimacy, and we talk about people's lifestyles and the relationships. And tonight, you're going to be in for a beautiful treat as we talk about the life of being a Dom and a sub and what that looks like on a 24/7 type of situation. And I'll get into all that situation soon. But y'all come on in. I think everyone is here. I'm so excited for tonight's show. I have my radio voice on.
No, you sound sexy.
Do I sound sexy? Do I sound sexy? I love
Sexy,
it.
you sound sexy.
I sound sexy. Come on in the studio. It's going to be a good time. Miss T needs to refresh her browser, come back in. She's not back in yet. Oh, there she is. Let me just get her back in the studio, then we'll get ready to go. Thank you, KD. KD's browser is not supported. Ask KD to use Chrome or Edge. Did you change your browser, KD?
Oh, she's gone.
All right, we're going to
Can you
go
guys see me?
ahead. Yes, we see you fine.
A.
Hey, this is the show. How you doing out there, YouTube? Miss T is going
YouTube.
to handle all the YouTube. Make sure you guys go to TikTok and follow me there because we're also going to go live there as well. We're going to give ourselves just a
Somebody
couple of more
talk to
minutes
us.
to um, allow KD to get back in the studio. We're all over the place. We're in Delaware, we're in New York, we're in Florida, and we're in Georgia. So we are all over the place as we talk about relationships and sex, as we talk about what it's like to be in the lifestyle. And the lifestyle, we're going to talk about what I mean by that, but what it means to be in the lifestyle of being a Dom and a sub and being married and what that looks like and what this beautiful couple does in their bedroom and out of their bedroom and wherever else they're doing their madness. Wherever else they're being naughty, Mr. Sir Knotty and his monster. I don't know how she got a name monster because you see her, she's like, are you 5 feet? How do
Oh,
you
we're
think you're
height
five
buddies.
feet?
I'm 5'1".
You've
Yes.
seen her in the dungeon. You know exactly why she's called Monster.
Why you call me out like that, Sir Naughty? Why you call me out already?
You walked into that one though.
I
Yeah,
did.
you
I
walked
did.
into
I
You
that
walked
one.
into that one. You gave yourself up, Doc Val.
haven't even got this show yet. I've already called myself out. Oh my God. Yeah, I have a. We're going to talk about my cornea at one point in time during this show. Oh my God, we had so much fun. All right, let me go. All right, Miss KD is coming in. Let me go ahead and get live on TikTok here. Get this going. Let's see what we got popping on live. Now this is going to be so much fun. Uh, all right. Here we are live on TikTok too. Yay. Come on TikTok. Notices should be going out. We're talking about adult things on TikTok tonight. So I always say no one under 18 for my shows as we talk about what it's like to live in the dom and the sub world. It's going to be fun. All right. We're going to give KD, well, I think started and let KD come in when she can. All right. Let's get this party started. What's up? What's up, everybody? You know by now, if you hear this music, this means Brown Sugar Confessions radio show is coming to you wherever you're getting your listening and your viewing pleasure. And tonight, if you're not on YouTube, you need to go there. If you're not on TikTok, go follow me because we have the cutest couple tonight that are our co hosts. Sir Naughty and Monster are here. We're going to talk about them. We're going to talk about what this is like. But before I get into all of this goodness about tonight's show, we got to talk about our co host. And so let's talk to Tracy. Tracy, love, what's up with you?
Packed and ready to go.
Where you? I know you are packed.
I'm packed. I'm ready for November. My suitcase is right there. Right there.
She's ready.
Let's go.
You didn't even tell us about your week or nothing. Just
No.
that you're packed and ready. Who cares?
Care about
She
that.
said the week is irrelevant. When are we leaving?
The week is exactly. We going on this cruise. Let's go.
Okay. All right. That's all things you care about.
I feel like you
Okay.
should tell them about what the cruise is.
Yeah, Tracy. Come on.
Oh, you tell because I already
No,
said it
you
last
tell
week. I
them.
said
You're the leader of
we
this.
going on a
I'm
oh,
the
we going on
leader.
Yes.
Yes. You say
No,
it.
you tell them. Because I want to hear from you or I want to hear you talk about it. Let me see what you know what you're talking about.
Oh.
Where I'm taking you.
We going on a smexy cruise.
A smexy cruise.
A smexy cruise. And I'm fixing a while out, is what I'm gonna tell y'all. If y'all thought I had fun at Hido, but
Are you
don't
gonna
get me
go?
wrong, I'm gonna be official. I'm gonna be taking notes like this. Doc Val wants this. But when I'm off,
Are you gonna be?
I don't know, probably watching you do some stuff.
Probably, girlfriend. Probably. I tell you one thing, I am so excited for November and this beautiful couple that you see, Sir Naughty and Monster will be there. I know you're probably wondering if you're looking on YouTube and TikTok, like, why is she called Monster? We're gonna get into that later on. Why this beautiful young lady's called Monster. But before we get into who they are, let's get into who is Katie back yet? She's still out there. Okay, she's not back
Uh,
yet.
not
Is she
yet, but
back?
Not yet.
she'll probably be coming back in a real quick.
Okay. All right then. All right, love. Why don't you go ahead and tell her what's going on with you in Georgia?
All right, so still alive. That's a good thing.
Why wouldn't you be?
I don't know, but I always got to celebrate that.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, good. Okay. I was just checking, like, why wouldn't you be alive? Something I don't know happened in Georgia?
I mean, I might be a ghost. It is October at this point.
Okay. All right. All
But
right.
we did not also get to introduce our favorite month of the year. October is also Kinktober here on Brown Sugar Confessions. So
Yes, it
this
is.
month we are dedicating all four, five, whatever Thursdays we have this year to the subject of kink. So that is also why we have our lovely guests with us today, Sir Knotty and Monster. But before we get all into that, into the juicy stuff, couple things that we gotta get down first. Don't forget, cuffing season has started. Did you guys make your picks yet? Who are you taking
Ooh.
to the
Yeah.
Halloween party? How
Nobody.
spicy are you going to get for Halloween? These are the questions that we need to know. So if you're trying to get somebody on your roster and you've already picked out who it is and you know what you're going to do for Halloween, go ahead, like and subscribe. Tell us all about it. We want to follow your journey through this cuffing season. We want to know if you make it to the championship, if you make it to the playoffs, or if you get kicked out of the Sweet 16. We need to know all of that. All of it.
Because you be
I can
keeping
dig that.
stats, Miss T.
Yes. I am a random knowledge generator. I need to know these things.
You know what? I don't even get cuffing season, but I get it. But I want to know. I want to know who is being cuffed this season. Ooh, that was a good segue, wasn't it?
Yes. Who's getting
That was who's getting cuffed this
who's
season.
getting
I want
cuffed?
to know. I want to know. But before we get into tonight's show, make sure that you go to YouTube, like, share, and subscribe it. Go to TikTok, follow me there on Doc Val, and go to Facebook and like us as well because we tonight are talking about some grown up things. So as Miss T said tonight, we are talking about well, I guess BDSM because it's Kinktober.
Kinktober.
And yay, right? And in Kinktober, we are going to talk about things that people in the lifestyle like to do. So, if you don't know by now, and I'm going to educate you for a second before I introduce our beautiful co host, Sir Knotty and Monster, the lifestyle is the umbrella term for people that are sex positive, that are into nudity, BDSM, swinging, poly. What else did I miss? All of those, not specialty types, but all those relationships that might not be typically normal for people. I shouldn't
Do
say
role
normal,
playing
but
count?
what is it?
Role playing, does that count?
That's in one of the genres of what I just mentioned. You can role play in BDSM. You can role
Okay.
play as a swinger. I guess you can role play as a nudist. I think you can. Yeah, I think you
Be
can.
role playing as a nude person?
No, I don't think you can role play a new person.
I
Miss
don't
T,
know. I'm
no.
just guessing.
Yes, God, you and your yes, that's it. So we are tonight talking about the lifestyle, dedicating everything to Kinktober. And I have to talk to you about this beautiful couple. I'm going to give their bio to you in a few minutes. But I think I've known them now for about 3 years, right? Sir Naughty and Monster? Yeah. Yeah, about 3 years. And I met them on the Bliss Cruise. And so I have to set the scene for you so you can get a feel for what's happening in this scene, right? So on
Hold
the
on.
Bliss
Do we need
Cruise,
these? Do we need these now?
Miss T, you always needed something to drink,
I mean,
but
I'm
yes,
ready
go
to be
ahead.
prepared, but if we need the drinks, we need to throw
It's
out that
no, I'm just
warning
gonna
real
set the
quick.
scene up. It's no, I'm just gonna set the scene up of what you can expect.
I feel like it's
So
about to be juicy.
it is juicy. One of the things that's really cool about the Bliss Cruise is that they have a dedicated dungeon. And the dungeon, it is absolutely beautiful. The dungeon masters and Sir Nadi and Monster are one of the dungeon masters or a pair of the dungeon masters help run this dungeon, do scenes in this dungeon. and they do a beautiful job in setting up all the equipment, sterilizing it. You can use whatever you want to use. They are there along with other dungeon masters teaching and guiding you if you don't have experience into this. So I see Sir Knotty in the corner, and they've got the BDSM, kind of, what gothy, not goth music, but the music that we like in the dungeon. And the lights are kind of low and dark, and it's a theater style setting. So imagine a theater style setting, and people are sitting just like having their drink on, watching people just do whatever they want to do. And I see this gorgeous man in the corner set up with this tripod looking thing. And I'm like, oh, what is this? So I'm watching him, and I see that he's got ropes, and I'm watching him tie up this beautiful lady who happens to be, at this time, it was Monster's wife, whom I did not know. And I'm watching this scene unfold. I'm watching how he's using the rope, how it's touching her skin. I'm watching how attentive he is to her. And I'm watching her body, how she's responding. And I'm like, oh my God, that is so beautiful. And then I'm seeing other people getting roped in this apparatus. And he'll explain what all this is. I guess, is it called a rig?
Yes.
Sonati? Rig. Okay. In this rig. And I'm like, oh my gosh, he's tying up men and putting them in this rig. He's tying up women. He tied up a couple. And I was like, oh my God, that is so beautiful.
I need those
And
lipsticks.
I'm gonna get into it. I can't get into it yet, but I gotta set the scene, right? And
Okay,
I'm
my
like,
bad, my bad.
I need this couple in my life. I need to know what they're doing, because I want to know. I've heard about it, but I've seen rope play at Yushabari thousands of times, but never on this tripod. And so hence I've got to know them now for the last 3 years. And we're going to talk to them tonight about what their lifestyle is like. So I'm going to read their bio. And this is where you guys can ask any questions about them and their lifestyle. So I'm just going to read it. And it says, Sir Knotty and Monster, let me go get it here, of Carnival, Risque. And it keeps flipping here, have been 25 years teaching. Is that right?
No, 25 years experience as a rigger, just over a
Oh,
decade of teaching.
20 as a rigger. Okay.
Yes.
And I'm going to get into, and I'm going to go, I keep losing the page I want to read it from. I want to read their full bio for you so you can get a feel for who they are. But explain what a rigger is while I get your full bio up.
Essentially, a rigger is just the person that is doing the tying.
Okay. And
Um,
okay, go ahead.
well, I mean, you can be a rigger in a lot of ways. You can rig with rope. You can rig with saran wrap. Um, you know, it's sort of a generic term that we stole from the Navy. There's riggers in stage work, and they all essentially do the same thing, just with different media and for different reasons.
I see. I see. So I thought it was a naval term, a rigger. Am I right about that?
Yes.
Okay, I thought it was. That's what I thought. So I'm going to read their bio to you. Um, and Sir Knotty and Monster of Carnival, Risque, they're out of Florida. Sir Knotty has been rigging for over 25 years and teaching rope and lifestyle classes for over a decade. He's performed at Art Undressed, Art Walk Miami, and entertained countless fetishes takeovers. His teaching style focuses on rope and tie engineering. This takes rope beyond the traditional copy and mimics training technique. He encourages and helps anyone and everyone to develop their own unique style. Appearing with his wife and submissive and rope bottom, new term, right? Rope bottom, Monster. And as an online content creator, skilled impact top and passionate lover of BDSM lifestyle, she completes the educational package with insights and experience from both of their unique dynamics. So that is a lovely bio. And if you haven't said so out there, YouTube, TikTok, please take a minute and welcome Sir Knotty and his beautiful wife, Monster. Welcome to the show, guys. We are so happy to have you guys. So
We're
I
really
set
happy to have you
this,
here.
thank you, sweetheart. I set the scene for how I met you. But let me ask you this question. Um, how did you guys meet? And yeah, go into that.
We met on Instagram.
I love
Okay.
it.
I love it. Just we met on Instagram. Okay.
We met online. I had my online persona of Sir Knotty and the work that I was doing, and it attracted this young lady, and we started talking. We developed a connection, and eventually the stars aligned. She's Canadian, so it was difficult for us to actually get married and get together and develop a relationship, but I think it's been absolutely worth it.
Oh, that is so so sweet. So you met online. And so Monster, you knew that he was into BDSM?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Okay. And prior to meeting him, were you into BDSM?
Yes.
Okay, so let's go back to yesteryear. So Monster, tell us how long you were into BDSM and what type of BDSM are you into and what got you into it a little bit about yourself.
A lot of impact play. I'm very into impact play, wax play, almost every kink you can think of,
Hmm.
probably into. Like,
Okay. And for how long have you been into it?
about 15 years. Like,
15.
from a very young age, yeah. I started
Wha-
getting into it.
And you said at a young age you got into it.
I stumbled upon it on Tumblr and was just like, ooh.
Ooh, love it. And when did you develop the persona of Monster? And when did you know that you were what
Monster.
your yeah, when did you know that you were going to be a bottom or a top or switch? And explain some of that for the audience for us.
So I knew that I was going to be a bottom, um, probably since I was 18. Like I
Okay.
developed that personality, but I was doll face monster since I was like 13. It's just the name that I chose for my Instagram and it stuck.
Okay.
Like, um, but then yeah, it just developed into monster kind of took over the doll face, like
Yes, I know. So
like
you
wax.
so about 18 years old you got into it.
Yeah.
Okay. And you knew then that you were did you how did you get into it? Did you go to a dungeon? I mean, how did you get into it?
I did get into rope
Okay.
in the first part, like self tying and stuff. And then
Mhm.
I started teaching my friends in college how to do rope and stuff. Because
Okay.
in Canada, college starts at 18. It's
Mhm.
Seja. Um, and then it kind of became a persona of monster. Um, but I only got into flogging and impact play, like impact play with actual tools that you use
Mhm.
for impact play,
Mhm.
like when I was maybe 20, you know?
Okay.
Um,
And when you first got into it, um, did you know that you wanted to be a bottom, or did you play around until you kind of figured out that you like to be a bottom more?
so, and this is where I also get confused because I probably should have known that I was a switch, like at
Mhm.
that time. Because I was often in my relationships topping from the bottom. So I
Oh,
was teaching my partners how to top me from the bottom.
right.
So I already knew how to be a top. I was just teaching them how to do it for me. Like, so I
Topping
should have
from the
known.
bottom.
Topping from the bottom.
We're going to get into that because I'm sure the audience probably like, what does she mean by topping from the bottom? We're going to talk about what that actually means. Okay. And then you met Sir Knotty,
Yeah.
and then you got into playing with rope.
Suspension. I got
Suspension.
specifically into suspension once I met Sir Naughty.
Aha. And that is what a rigger does. It's suspending you in the air and use this tripod thing, right, Sir Naughty?
Yes.
Okay. So, Sir Naughty, go and tell us a little bit about yourself and what got you into BDSM and what got you into rope play and how you developed this.
I sort of came into it backwards compared to most people. I was into without knowing I was into rope. The military taught me how to do fancy work as I was in the Navy, tying handrails and bell ringers and all the things that you see on Navy ships.
Hmm.
Um, and after I got out of the military, I continued those skills and had a garage that was sort of decorated in this rope macrame stuff that I would do just to relax and unwind. And someone, a friend of a friend situation saw my garage and said, you know, do you know what else you can do with that skill? I'm 21 years old at the time, and helpless women, you said? I was all for it.
Okay. Well, thank you for your service and continued service, Sir Naughty. Those naval skills have paid off, I tell you.
They have. They have.
Well, so that's fascinating. And and now you work at a club in Florida.
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
Club Swingster in Florida with Carnival Risque.
Okay. All righty. And so let's talk about you guys as a married couple living in the BDSM world. So, there's four levels of power exchange that I like to talk about. So, I just have a couple of questions for you. Do you guys live this Dom sub life 24/7, or is it during certain times? How do you manage that? Or is it 24/7 or just like, okay, tonight we're going to play. And then, all right, how do you manage that?
Well, so we do scenes at certain times. Like, sometimes when the moment's right, we'll fall into a scene
Hmm.
because the consent is already there. We don't have to talk about, like, he knows my boundaries, he knows what I like. So we can fall into a scene safely. Um, Sometimes, if it's like a busy week, we need to plan out times where we do scenes. But
Okay.
every day I kneel for him. I have a list of things that I need to do to be able to, just please him as a sub,
Hmm.
like everyday basis.
Hmm.
Um, so that's how we kind of keep it up.
Hmm.
I also kneel for him every day. So like whenever he comes home from work, like I'm in the nude
Hmm.
kneeling for him so that it's my most vulnerable position that I can be, like on
Hmm.
my knees, looking up. Like
Oh,
Wow. That
we
is
keep it we keep our BDSM relationship alive like that 24/7 by being vulnerable with each other, and
okay.
especially keeping myself vulnerable for him because I got this. Again, I used to top from the bottom a lot,
Hmm.
so sometimes I forget that he's a trained top. I don't
Mm.
need to top from the bottom anymore.
Hmm.
So being put in vulnerable positions keeps me in line. You know what
Okay.
I mean?
I do know what you mean. And you said a couple of key words that I want to expand upon. Monster is consent. So when you guys first got into this, and you decided to live, so their power exchange is number four, by the way. That means that they live this lifestyle 24/7. And as you heard her say that, she kneels for him. There's a list of things that she does, and so she can please him, etc. And this is something that you guys negotiated and spoke around consent to make sure that everyone is safe and happy and fulfilled, right?
There's a full contract that we have and we signed.
So you guys have a full contract.
Yes.
Okay.
And it
And
gets renewed
go
every
ahead.
year.
And you do what?
It gets renewed every year.
I think every married couple should have a contract like that.
Yeah, we need. So we have questions. What comes in these contracts?
That was kind of going to be something that I was going to mention, but Monster seemed very interested in answering. The 24/7 lifestyle um, takes effort to keep it alive and keep it going. Um, the contracts itself, there's a lot of guides out there for how to do a contract, but every contract needs to be customized. You cannot take a contract and say, here is your BDSM contract, everybody sign this. You have to get to know the person that you're going to be in a relationship with so that you can set rules, expectations, boundaries, goals, and all of that is inside the contract that is going to satisfy me as a top and help her maintain, grow, and be the best version of herself that she can be. And all of that goes into the contract, as well as hard limits, what can and cannot be negotiated. Uh, Things like she mentioned the fact that the contract gets renewed annually. The whole
Mhm.
point of an annual renewal of the contract is so that you come back to the table, you sit down, you have that discussion. Does anything need to change? What's working? What's not? Um, Dr. Val, you said it right there with the whole marriage. I think that that is the primary difference between a BDSM relationship and a standard marriage. A lot of times our evenings don't necessarily look all that different than a normal vanilla couple, except for she might be wearing less because we can get away with that without kids.
Right.
Um, uh, a lot of times the evenings don't necessarily look all that different, uh, but we know what we want, and we have the ability inside the contract. Is she often comes to me and says, I need a scene. It's been 3-4 days. It's time to have a little fun.
Really? So you come to him and say, I need a scene.
Often every night I need a little spanking just to keep my like
Okay.
yeah.
All right. I think that it's amazing that a couple chooses to live this lifestyle with such consent and openness. And, I have to give it to the two of you for really sharing this, because this is the part that people don't understand, that some people do choose to live this lifestyle 24/7. And they're thinking that, we're all flying around in jets and, helicopters like 50 Shades, and it's nothing close to
Right,
it. Nothing
right.
at all. And so thank you guys for being vulnerable and open and sharing your lifestyle with the community. We're going to, this has just been amazing. I think we have to go to break, don't we?
Yeah, we gotta take a break really quick. So
Yeah,
remember,
that'd
if
be
you
great.
are watching on YouTube or on TikTok Live through Doc Val's TikTok, send us some questions. I know you guys got questions for this lovely couple here. I got questions. I'm trying to organize in my head how I'm going to ask these questions. So if you got questions, go ahead, post them in the chat. Send them to us via email, brownsugarconfessions@gmail.com. We are going to be back right after this. If you're hanging out with us live, stay on. We'll take on some of your questions. If there's some comments you want to have, by the way, one of our favorite uh, people entered the chat for YouTube not too long ago, the real Conjure. So
Hey,
she says
Contraband.
hello and she is so excited for this uh, topic that we have. So everybody goes to the potty, refresh your drinks. We will be right back after this.
There you go. And now, what's up, YouTube and TikTok? How are you? We can go crazy out here now. So I know you guys might have some questions, and you can feel free to share what you want, and we're going to answer them for you guys. And this was so, I find it so interesting that you do your contract every year. I think every married couple should actually
I feel
like
like there
not
should be a
renew.
dating contract.
Well, there definitely probably should, but I think every couple should renew because you're growing and changing every year. I never even
Exactly.
thought about that.
I think every couple should have the conversation before they get in the relationship that we have to have the contract in the first place. We
Yeah,
did not date,
absolutely.
That right there.
you know.
You did not what? Say it again. I cut you off. Sorry.
We did not date before looking at the contract and saying, do we want to do this?
Hmm.
Oh.
I personally didn't become a dom until my early 30s. Before that, I was just a
I gotta use the
pervert with
bathroom.
rope.
Oh,
Okay, you go use the bathroom.
We do have a question. We got a question in the YouTube chat. So,
Okay, go ahead.
the question is, how do you get past the feeling of claustrophobia when you are tied up?
The best person to ask for that just took a bathroom break.
Okay, so we're gonna come back to that question. We're gonna circle back to that question when Little Monster comes back.
Okay.
I could give you my answer to that, but Monster is going to have a much more firsthand experience with it.
Hmm.
Um, I don't think you're going to feel as claustrophobic as you think while doing it.
Mm-mm.
Perhaps you've tried it before and have had that experience. Um, I would suggest, if you think it's something you would enjoy, develop a stronger connection with the rigger before you get into the rope.
Hmm.
Because there's constriction, but there's not small space claustrophobia. A lot of people tune everything out when they're up in rope and tend to feel more like they're flying in space than any sort of claustrophobia.
Hmm.
subspace.
So talk about
Subspace?
that. Yeah, subspace. So, Monster, we were asked a question on YouTube about what was it? Claustrophobia when you're
How
being
do you
tied.
get past the feeling of claustrophobia when you're tied up?
Um, you can get tied in different ways. So you don't necessarily have to have your hands tied up. A simple
Hip harness.
Yeah, a simple hip harness leaves everything free and you can hold onto the rope. You feel secure and you don't feel closed up. That's and you can also talk to your partner if you have this phobia of being like trapped. Your
Hmm.
partner will be there to talk you through it and hold you, and when you come out of rope, be there for you to deal with it, you know?
Hmm.
Like it's
Hmm.
a great way to deal with all these possible traumas or phobias that you could possibly have.
Right.
It's a beautiful thing. Like
I will.
it's a great way to deal with a lot.
I've seen you, being suspended, Monster, and it's absolutely beautiful to watch you two together. The connection that you have. Then I've seen you, Sir Knotty, tie up a man that was, I'll talk about that on the radio show, but I'm going to talk about my experience with you because you said two things that really struck me just a minute ago, Sir Knotty, when you said, building trust. Because I watched you for a couple of years because you know what I do on the Bliss. So I'm like, I'm not about to put on a show, but you fascinated me. And I think when I watched you, I loved your passion for the person that you were tying up. You took such care. And I don't know if you can imagine, Sir Noddy's a big guy, but I saw him actually tie up a man that was, what was he, 400 pounds, 300 pounds? How big was
I
he?
think he was 450, if I remember what they told me right.
450. And the sweat that this man, Sir Naughty, he looked like he took a shower. I swear to God. The sweat off of Sir Naughty's body, hoisting this man that weighs more than Sir. But he took such time to hoist him beautifully. And I saw how careful he was, or you were, sir, when you were working on his pressure points, checking constriction, make sure he was comfortable. And I'm like, if I had this experience, I want to try it with someone that I trust. And that is when I said, knock, knock, could you close the doors and you rig me? Because I wanted that experience. And I'm the bliss. I never do anything. I'm always, teaching, working, whatever. But I wanted that because I'll never get it again. And that's what intrigued me when you were hoisting this man and your attention to detail to make sure he was safe, to make sure that his body was not hurting. And what I also loved with watching you with him is when is it the right word? Unhoisted him or unhooked him? Is there a word?
Lowered him.
Okay, when you lowered him, and the feeling and seeing the tears roll out of his eyes just impacted me. And I talked to his dom or dame, and she said that was the first time that all the weight was off of his body, and he felt weightless, and he had not felt that. And I'm like, oh my
Aw.
God. And it was like, oh my God. And so you never know what someone goes through or why they do what they do. But the one thing I will say is that I notice that you don't judge. You just make sure everyone is safe. You look at their body, how they're moving. And that's when I had my experience with you. And this was my first time. And um, we're both presenters, and you constantly asked me, was I okay? And did you invert me as well? I can't remember. I think you did.
Yes.
Yeah. He's like, yes. So not only was I vertical, then I went upside down. And there is a time limit, if I'm correct, right? Because you kept checking the time, right?
For new people, I like to limit it to about 15 minutes, just especially on a cruise. You mentioned how much I was sweating when I did that one suspension. The truth is when we do these takeovers and shows, I actually have friends of mine that tease me and call me the elevator man because I end up just doing up, down, up, down, up, down for the entire cruise. Um, so it's always a great workout to work these things. Uh, One of the great things about BDSM is you can have BDSM be as non-sexual as you want it to be and as sexual as you want it to be.
Right.
Um, I've heard of people that, I'm sorry, no, I won't tie up a guy because I'm a guy or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That just tells me that, while I was reading our pre-show thing, you had brought up
Mm-hmm.
red flag. That would be one of the things that if I was just going to approach somebody and ask them to do a tie, I would be concerned about. That would be a red flag. Well, if you won't tie up a man, you're obviously taking more from it than I want to give you as your rope bottom. I'm here just for
Mm-hmm.
the experience of being in rope, not to get you off.
Mm.
Ooh,
Wow.
that's
But by
deep.
the way, that first tie that you had with Sir Knotty was so
Mm-hmm.
beautiful. I enjoyed it so much.
It was it was so uh I can't even describe to you how I feel. It was absolutely beautiful. And for
It felt
me,
like you
huh, baby?
it looked like you were invigorated. You came to life. Like
I felt it. I felt invigorated when at first it was like there's a little bit of fear because I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to expect. There were people kind of I think there was a theater was full. I can't remember. I think I kind of, I went subspace there. And I'm not even a sub, but but I definitely was flying there for a few. And I remember like the ropes coming off of my body is when I felt euphoric. I was like, oh my God. And I was crying. And Sir was holding me. And I think you came over. I can't, a couple of people did. But I just remember the community of aftercare just holding me and comforting me um, after the ropes were coming off my body. For me, it was a texture, the sensation is it really touched me. And you mentioned something also, sir, that I want to collaborate on, is that in the BDSM world, it's not about the sex. In the dungeon, you don't even typically see people having sex. I'm letting you guys know. I've been in dungeon for years and I'm like, I think I've seen people have sex twice. And they weren't even doing BDSM. They just came in there just to get it on. But yeah, so I remember that so vividly, that if you go to those dungeons, it's really, you're not going to see people just getting it on. You're just going to see people, consensual adults, having a scene that is discussed and consented upon. And everyone is safe, and that's what I love about the two of you when I watch you guys. Any more questions out there, Miss T?
Yes,
Yes,
we
I
got
know.
questions. I got one
Okay.
question, but I'm gonna ask these two questions
Should we go
first.
back on the
So,
radio or should we take them out?
uh, we can go on the radio for this one.
Oh,
Well, for one of them, we probably shouldn't because, well, I mean, we technically can if we need to re-talk about it. Because the one that you talked about where BDSM is not always about sex, and somebody you two said it's not about sex. So
okay.
I
So,
think that's the general stigma is that BDSM is about sexy time. Like
exactly.
this is my way of getting sexy time and not a normal sexy time way. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean. I think let's go back on the radio, because I think that question can be for the listening audience about,
Okay.
it's not about sex. So, Tracy, go ahead and bring us back in for break here. And we're going to get back into this radio show and get all your questions answered out there on YouTube.
All right, give me a second. Are we ready to go back?
We are ready
Okay.
whenever you are, love.
We counting down or are we good?
I think
I'm
count it
good. I can
down,
do
Miss
it.
T. Okay.
Oh, okay. All
I
right,
got it.
here we go. And we're going back to the show. Oh wait, Tracy's gonna do it. Okay, never mind.
All right. Welcome back to Brown Sugar Confessions on Power 1017 and on YouTube and on TikTok. If you are listening to us on the radio, why don't you just jog your little fingers over to Brown Sugar Confessions on YouTube and give us a like and a subscribe, please. If you have not seen our lovely faces, we are looking absolutely gorgeous tonight. Stop playing with us. Give us the like. We need it. We're
We
getting
need
to a
it.
thousand.
Yes,
We
that's
want to
Road
it.
to
get to a
1K.
thousand. So, as we get into this, and we're talking about BDSM, we are talking to Sir Knotty and Little Monster. If you have any questions about BDSM, and I'm going to tell you right now, the way I found out about it was ridiculous. It was back in the days of AOL. Things have changed.
Oh
Okay.
Lord. Okay.
First of all, I don't even think half the audience even understands what AOL is.
Dial up, dial up. So, if you have questions and you want a trusted resource, you need to reach out to Doc Val, and you can reach her at Valerie at swancenter.com. Now, I'm going to spell it, and I say this every week, but I still get these little messages about, is that so coach? Yeah, your mama. Okay? That's what I'm
You're
going
a
to tell
trip.
So spicy.
Is she
you.
spicy?
Spicy.
Hungry, I have not eaten yet. So here's how you reach Doc Val. It is VALERIE, Doc Val at Swan Center, SWANCenter.com. Now, I'm going to say this because I love reading the stories. Now, if you want to confess some stuff that you've done in the dungeon with me
Ooh.
and us, you know where to write. Brownsugarconfessions at gmail.com. Exactly how it sounds. No weird spellings, just that. Now, let's hurry up and get back into this because I got questions and I'm enjoying the tea. Let's go.
This is such a good show, guys. Keep all those questions going. Sir Naughty and Monster, how can people reach out to you?
Instagram.
Instagram's the best way. I
Okay.
am Sir Naughty on Instagram, and it is Knotties_Monster.
All right, all right. And what I'm going to do is put their information in our chats. I'm going to put it on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all those places that you guys can reach out to them because you guys also teach as well, right?
Indeed.
Yes, we do.
Okay. So if you want a master rigger, which means a person that is a specialist in rope tie. Now, here's a question for you, Sir Naughty. Is shibari considered what you do, or is that something else?
Shibari is essentially what I do ish.
Okay.
Shibari specifically refers to a Japanese style. I tend to be a little bit more free form and go back to some classic knots and even some Western fusion style with my rigging.
Okay. All right. All right. So it is a part. It is shibari, but you just do it. You do it on the tripod, and the tripod's called a rig. Is that what I'm understanding? What's it called?
Yes.
Okay, alrighty. It's just amazing. Like you're learning so much. And there is a word that came up, which is rope bottom. Explain what a rope bottom is. I know it is, but yeah, to the people listening, what's a rope bottom?
The person that gets tied up.
There you go. There you go. And and I during break we were talking about my experience. You were talking about people that come up to you, and do you interview people, Sir Naughty, that want to get tied up? What and if you do, what are you looking for? What are your red flags that you're looking for?
I don't know that what I do would be an interview. I guess it is. Typically, I just question them. If they come up, they say, I want to get tied. First thing
Hmm.
you're looking for is somebody that's too inebriated to give consent.
Right.
Um, if somebody doesn't seem like they're in a space where they can give proper consent, which you had mentioned earlier about doing things safely.
Hmm.
Um, we tend to avoid safe as a word because um, I'm sure everybody's heard of safe, sane, and consensual.
Hmm.
Um, Not everything that we do is necessarily safe or sane.
That could
uh,
be true. Yes.
so the way we qualify it now is risk aware consent.
I
Um,
like that. Yeah.
so Monster bottom knows that by getting into my rope, there is a certain amount of risk involved with being suspended off the ground um, by rope. Uh,
Hmm.
and she consents to take that risk with me.
Okay.
Um, so there is an interview process of do you have any physical limitations? What are you hoping to achieve?
Hmm.
That kind of thing. Um, but for somebody that I'm tying for the first time, I tend to play it fairly safe and do very very sturdy ties that I know the chance of injuring somebody is almost non-existent.
Right.
To give them that first experience of just being in rope, feeling the rope
Hmm.
pressed into their body, feeling what it feels like to leave the ground and be suspended like that.
Hmm.
Um, and then if they have a good first easy experience, then as I see them on the next cruise or at the next show, we'll go further and further and further.
Oh, that
I
is
got a question.
beautiful.
I
Hmm.
got a couple questions actually.
Go go ahead, Miss T. It's all yours, baby girl.
All right. So, Sir Naughty, what? Because I know you were saying how what you do is kind of a more westernized version of shibari. What has been your most difficult tie on a person?
My most visible tie.
Difficult, like your hardest one.
Oh, the difficult tie. Anytime I do a double suspension, that tends to be the most difficult.
That
Um,
is so beautiful, Sir Naughty, when I saw
And
you
what
do
what is a double
that.
suspension? That two people? Two people
Two
suspended?
people at once, yes.
Ooh.
Now, there's a couple ways you can do a double suspension. You can hang two people from the rig itself, but each one has its own uplines. That's okay, and very, can be very beautiful. But part of what we do in BDSM is all about connection. So a lot of times suspension, what I like to do is suspend the first person and then actually suspend the second person from the first person so that they have that connection to each other through the rope.
Oh wow.
I
That
saw
sounds like
him
fun.
suspend a couple, right? Yeah, I saw you suspend a couple. And was it a scissor kind of tie I saw you do? I can't remember. But yeah, is that what it was?
I I'm not sure which one you're specifically referring to, but I do
Okay.
remember doing that one.
And by
Trying to remember.
scissor, we meaning like this, right? Like
Yeah,
We're like,
legs
yes,
together and in?
legs,
Okay.
right. And I've seen you suspend two women in a scissor position as well.
Love
Yeah.
it.
And
Love
then he
it.
swings them back and forth. And I was like, oh,
I
that's
want to
so
see that.
Oh, so
beautiful.
you're swinging too. Oh, so you're thinking like, okay, now I got the visual in my head.
Now
So
you
you're
got the
sitting together
visuals.
and you're swinging and like everything's rubbing together. Okay, and you got the sensation of the rope and the
There
things are
you
like
go.
getting tight. Okay, I get this. It's all coming together. I love it. I love
Do
it.
you see
Okay.
how excited Miss T has just gotten? Like she like the light bulbs have just gone on,
I
sir.
just need logistics. That's all I need. If you give me like from point A to point B and I can put the rest of it together, yes, okay, I
You
get it
you
now.
you got it now. You got it. Yeah, it was
Yes.
quite beautiful to watch that. And so, since you guys have been doing this, do we have any more questions out there in the audience? Oh, we were talking about
Oh,
something, Kate, Miss T. What
we
was it?
we also one of our audience members wanted to know about inversion, which assuming is just you being flipped upside down, correct?
correct.
Okay. All right. So we got that. We got that. I think
How long can
up
you
to date.
invert somebody?
It depends on the person.
Okay.
Um, I believe Monster has done 20 minutes inverted.
Mm.
Um,
Ooh.
Wow.
so it also depends on the tie. A lot of times there's tricks you can do where somebody is inverted. They can hang that way. It looks very beautiful. Everybody turns and looks the other way, flip back up, get a little blood balance in their brain, and then flip back over again. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. And if you've got, I hope that, do you have some video links we can put up your video so we can, so people can like visualize? Because I've seen it, but I'm sure many people are like, I can't vision it. Like, do you have some links on your Instagram people can look at?
On both of our Instagrams,
Yeah.
there is videos.
Okay, beautiful. So make sure you guys go check out their Instagram so you can see some videos of what he's saying. I recall that when you tied me up, suspended me, and then you inverted me, and you said you're at your limit. I think I went like 7 minutes, and I was like, wow. And it's amazing just how beautiful you feel. And it's not scary. I was really worried about me being constricted, and I was going to be like anxious and like, I'm going to kick your butt if you don't get me out of I'm gonna freak out. But it was very relaxing and beautiful. So I would say if you're going to do something like this and want to have an experience, interview the Dom, interview the master rigger, to make sure that that they know what they're doing, that they're going to protect your body. You heard Sir Knotty talk about he does a little interview with them to make sure, he goes over, do you have injuries, blase, blase, because you want to have a beautiful experience when you
And what
do
the
this.
bottom's goal is in the experience themselves.
That's
Um,
beautiful.
there has been people that I have not tied, um, because while we are polyamorous, while we do engage in swinging activities, um, that's not something that I provide for most people with rope. So I've had people that wanted me to do things to them in rope. And I like to draw a fairly hard line at that point in time when I'm working and say no to that. I have no problem doing the rope work, stepping back, keeping an eye on safety, and letting your partner or whoever you brought to the dance come and do whatever they would like to do to you. But that's not a service that I provide when I'm topping and rope.
Oh,
This man's
that
a
is
true
great.
professional. I love it.
True professional,
I
right?
I
Yes.
have to say, like, listening to this, and I've been to some places and I've seen some things, and the level of professionalism that you're talking about, most people don't understand, and they just see a naked tied up person and they're like, gang gang, and you're just like, no,
Mhm.
none of that is. It's like, sit down, sit down right now. You're grounded. Just
Go to your
saying that.
corner.
Look, I've been places, and I like to be tied up a lot, and it's nothing to do with sex for me. It is purely, I have anxiety a lot, and it releases so much anxiety in me just to be like to breathe. And I went this one place, and this guy's like, I want to tie you up, and I was just like, no, I'm getting a weird vibe. No. And he tied up another girl, and I watched him just be so weird,
Hmm.
so weird. And just to hear you be like, no, that's not even what this is. Like, can we do a standing ovation,
Yes,
please?
let's give them a
Round of
standing. There we go. Round of
applause.
applause. Because when I told them I was going to bring you on, I was like, he's a master at this. I just love his style. I love how attentive he is, and I also love that it doesn't seem to be ego driven. I do notice that with
Mm.
you. It's not ego driven. For you, it's really about the sub that you're working with. It's not about you, it's about them. And that's what I love about the dungeon masters that I've been around on the cruise is that truly they're giving so much of their energy and their expertise in what they're doing to give you whatever experience or goal that you're trying to get out of. And so I just think they're wonderful. And I think you guys also talked about that in the world of BDSM, it's not about sex. And people don't get that. Like, it's
I was like, can we
not
talk about
about
that real
sex.
quick?
Yeah, let's talk about it. Sir Naughty Monster, talk
Yeah,
about
cause
that. It's not about sex.
well, the before you get into it, Sir Nadia Monster, the reason I asked if we can talk about this because I think a lot of people when they hear, or I should say, the general layman when they hear about BDSM and kink and like polyamory, they think it's just a free for all to just lay with whoever you want, wherever you want, however you want. But from what I'm understanding, especially with talking to you and some of the other guests that we had on the show, is that a lot of times professionals are more concerned about the safety and the enjoyment of the person that they are involved with. And they're not
Hmm.
worried about getting their own, they're worried about the person that they're with. And I think that's the big distinction that a lot of people don't talk about.
Hmm. Sir Naughty, speak to that. Y'all speak to
Go
that for a
ahead.
second.
You want to speak to it? No?
They're
Okay.
looking at each other.
One of the things that
She has to
one
go.
of the
She has to
things
go to the
that we
bathroom
do,
again.
I, I think
No, I'm hitting my vape.
she's hitting her vape, I think.
She's like,
Okay.
and I'm out.
One of the things that we teach a BDSM 101 class, and one of the things that I open up with is what I think BDSM is. Um, Keep in mind, this is what it is to me and my interpretation of it. There is no real right way to do any of this. Um, there are wrong ways to do it, and if I see you doing the wrong way, I will tell you.
Hmm.
But other than that, you can do it however works best for you and your partner, and that's kind of the point. Is BDSM is sort of like an exercise for our relationship. Um, the things we do exercises our skill at communicating with each other, exercises our trust in each other, helps us helps us fulfill both of our wants for each other. Um, and I think that is every community has bad apples, but I think a lot of whenever you bring sex into the equation, a lot of every different segment of the communities ends up so hyper focused on consent, because it is an absolutely central part of all of this. Nobody wants to walk away from any situation with a bad experience.
Right. Mm-hmm.
especially in polyamory. Like that's a huge exercise of our trust as well. Like allowing another person into our relationship and watching your partner please them can be triggering for a lot of people, you know? But
Mm-hmm.
it's an exercise of how much I trust him and how much I enjoy viewing him please someone or him viewing me please someone. You know, it's an exercise of just how much we enjoy each other and how much we enjoy seeing someone else enjoy that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't even need to be about sex. It's just how much enjoyment that the other person is receiving from your partner. It's a sense of like, fuck yeah, that's my guy. Like
She said,
Yeah.
"That mine.
it's
That's
Some
mine
my
right
people,
there."
Like that's my guy. I I love it. Just how much you guys have been able to share with us tonight, and how open you are with everything, and you're an amazing top dom master rigger, and I'm sure, sir, that you've been out there long enough that you've seen also some that are not very professional. So, like, what have you seen out there that people should stay away from? Because that's also what we want to go over. Let's educate them a little bit, or be
uh,
wary of.
for the most part, you're just the biggest thing I would say that I've seen is renegotiation after you've already started. So somebody comes up and says, "I would like to do a tie." Um, let's do it. So you get them tied up in rope, and then all of a sudden they're in rope, they're subspacey, they're helpless, and you're like, well, you'd like some flogging and maybe some wandering hands and
Hmm.
that kind of stuff as well. And then they renegotiate that scene, what's going to happen in the middle. Um, that's like taking a girl out on a date thinking that you're just going out as friends, waiting until she's got a half a bottle of tequila in her and then renegotiating for sex. That's not how it's done. If that
Right.
wasn't on the table at the beginning, it's not on the table after you get her drunk, whether it's drunk off of tequila or drunk off of subspace and rope.
I love that. Whether you're drunk on tequila or drunk on subspace and rope, can we put that on a t-shirt and sell it on Bliss? But that's a good one.
I mean,
We got
we
to
might
remember to
be able to
market
make
that
that
one.
happen in time.
I think so, but that is a good one because I think you're absolutely right that you just don't start bringing people in. And I always tell people when you're looking at, working with a dom, talk to your dom, investigate a little bit. If your dom don't work with a dom that's high, you want to make sure that you are as safe as possible, that you're aware. I love that. What is that an acronym that you just mentioned? I got to write that down because I've heard that so many times. I
RAC,
don't know why I don't remember it.
risk aware consensual kink.
There you go. Put that in there somewhere so I don't forget that.
Risk
But
aware consensual kink.
kink, right?
Say it
That
three
is what.
times. Risk aware consensual kink. Risk aware consensual kink. Risk aware consensual kink.
Thank you, Doctor Miss T. we're we're going to go ahead and hashtag that out as well and
Feel
talk
like that
about
should be
that.
on a shirt too.
That should be on a shirt.
I think that one's already
Um,
been made.
oh,
probably.
really? Daggone, I'm trying. I'm trying. And you guys have any more questions? I have so many questions. Like,
I don't see any on YouTube.
what is your favorite type of suspension that you like to do? What is your favorite, sir?
Um, I really like the having my hair tied up along with the rope in my mouth, having my arms behind my back and like the full hip part. Like I like to be Superman. Like I
Oh.
like
So you
that.
so you want
Oh
to lay
wait,
out
I think I
flat,
saw that. You had that on your social media.
I do. I
Yes.
like that one a lot.
and so
But I
you're
also
You're suspended by your hair. Your hair is in a bun, and the rope
Yeah.
is on your hair.
And then it goes around my face, in my mouth. Kind of.
I think I missed that one. I got to go
Yeah,
back
you
and
gotta
check
go
that
back.
picture out.
It's a little extreme looking.
I like it a lot. Like,
Real, I got to go back and check that one out. Then,
Hmm.
okay. So that is your favorite one.
it's one of my favorites. I have a lot of favorites. Just anytime I'm in his robe, it's pretty well a good time. Like,
Right.
I would have a
And
hard time picking a favorite for me.
uh-huh.
Anytime I'm able to do rope is wonderful. Anytime I'm able to, make my submissive happy by getting her in my rope is wonderful. I The ones that are really powerful and stay with me, however, are um, the challenging ones you had mentioned earlier about the very heavy man that I did.
Mhm.
I've also done somebody who she had traveled to an event, had torn her ACL, and was devastated when she saw me there working and said, of course, I have to have torn my ACL, and this is something that I've always wanted to do, and here you
Oh.
are, and I can't do it because I tore my ACL. I said, well, I'm willing to try and work around that and make it work for you if you're willing to take that risk with me. And we had a conversation about it, about exactly what I was going to do. And we ended up being able to give her a suspension. And it was much like the other suspension that you had talked about earlier, Doc Val, um, where she had been in so much pain since the accident that when I was able to rig around her knee and essentially take all of the weight off of that knee from her
Mhm.
leg for the first time in weeks, it was, she said, I don't want to come out of the rope. Can I just stay here? No, I'm sorry.
Wow.
Oh.
I need my rope back.
Wow.
Feel like
That is
rope
so
is like low
amazing.
key holistic medicine. The way you hold people up and like it's calming people down, it's taking pressure off joints. Like this is something we need to talk about a lot more. Have you been
I,
tied up lately? That'll probably help with your sciatica.
only Misty could come up with something. But I think that you're right. And I think that people are not aware that there are out there like Sir Knotty and Monster that can help guide them professionally through this experience. So one more time, Sir Knotty and Monster, give out your handles. And you have a OF page also, Monster. So give all your info out so people can follow you guys.
yeah, my OF page is Naughty's Monster as well.
Okay.
It's like as soon as you follow me on Instagram, it's linked there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's
All righty.
Naughty's underscore monster, and then I'm Sir dot Sir Naughty. I forgot my own name. I keep trying to say your name.
Sir
Sir
Knotty.
dot.
Okay, that's with a K in. All right. Well, guys, we are out of time. Sir Naughty Monster, thank you so much
My
for
Thank you
pleasure.
for
enlightening this. I hope you enjoyed it.
Very much.
so much.
Good. And, we want to have you guys come back if you would like to. We would love to have, because there's so many more questions that we have, and we just did this much of the iceberg, but I think there's a round
Thank
Yeah.
two. Yeah,
Yeah, I
I think
think we
there's a
only
round
got
two.
two questions on the script.
Exactly, right? Because I told you it's like we just ad lib it, Ma. We just ad lib it. That's all we do,
Yeah.
sir. And for those that are on the Bliss, you're going to see them on the Bliss cruise. They're also teaching. And we don't know what it is yet, but go to the website and check out what they'll be teaching. I'll be teaching as well. And you guys, thank you so much for being open and honest and vulnerable and willing to educate people about what you do and how you do it, living the sub and lifestyle 24/7. And you know what we say out there on Brown Sugar Confessions: always stay safe and play safe. Bye bye for now, guys. We'll see you next week. Oh, that was awesome, guys. Wow. I do
Hey,
think there's a round two coming up. I do.
yeah, we got
We would love to.
somebody
Okay.
said they have more questions, so I'm gonna give them a couple minutes to see.
Oh,
Um
okay.
what the questions are if you guys are okay with sticking around. I asked them. And also, we got so into the conversation, we never did the hot topics.
We did. What hot topics?
What hot topics? This was the hot topic.
This was the hot topic. Forget the hot topic. This was the hot topic. Who cares about what all else is going on?
I was gonna
This-
say we at least got to talk about that heinous one that Treese. That was amazing. We got to talk about. Can we talk about that with Sir Knotty Monster right now while we're waiting to
okay.
see if
Go ahead.
anybody
Go
else
ahead.
posts some
Let
questions?
me mark the clip in here so I know. All right. Go ahead. Talk about it. What is it?
Okay, Treese, you wanna read it?
Oh my gosh. Okay, give me a second. Here we go. Ooh,
It's
y'all.
heinous. I love it.
I don't know how
I
I
love it.
find these things. It may just be my energy, but I always get weird stuff. So, a man sees his school crush. That's the title. Here we go. Ooh, get a drink. Get a drink. Y'all gonna need it.
I'm about to
I
say,
need
bring
it.
the mic closer. We got to get all the sultriness here.
Okay. When I was in the eighth grade, we had to do square dancing for PE, and I danced with this girl named Vanessa. I don't remember like the whole entire dance, but I just remember when I touched her hand, I fell head over heels in love with her. She was really out of my league, so I never had the courage to approach her, but I used to have vivid fantasies about dating her, marrying her, and having a life with her. She moved the first year of high school, so I thought I'd never see her again. Fast forward, setting, Safeway, the grocery store. I saw her. She looked exactly the same. I had to say hello. I asked her if she was Vanessa, and she said yes. And I said, well, you probably don't remember me because we danced the square dance in PE. And she was like, yeah, I kind of remember you. That was great. Ha ha ha. I was so stoked. I went in and started telling her about how much I loved her and how I was afraid to approach her and how beautiful she was. I said my silly schoolboy self had these fantasies of like marrying her and having kids with her and just like growing old together. I asked her what she's doing now, and she said she's getting her master's in architecture. And it turns out her work office is right down the street from where I work. She said she had to go. I asked for her number. She gave it to me and I said, maybe we could catch up sometime. And she said, sure, that'd be great as friends. I was so stoked. We said goodbye. About 10 minutes later, I thought of the name a kid I want, of the name that I wanted to name our kids. And it was based on this. I don't know if you guys remember the book Algernon for Flowers. So I FaceTimed her to tell her. She didn't answer. I got this text that says, "Hi, I'm sorry, but the whole encounter was really intense for me. I wish you well, but please don't contact me again." I tried to call her on a regular phone, but this time I think she blocked me. I saw my girl cousin later this week and showed her what I said, and my girl cousin said, "What the is wrong with you?" That was Don't ever do that to another girl. I don't see what was wrong with that. Am I the A? First of all, I've had too many edibles today. Bro, bro, you are definitely the A. And I hope she pulls out a restraining order against you. That's
That
bananas.
sounds delusional. Like the fuck?
What do you guys think?
Oh,
That's okay. We're off
We're off
radio
the
and we're off
air now. You're
YouTube.
good.
We're
We're off the
off.
air.
You can say whatever you want to say.
Say what you want to say.
that would freak me out so much. Like, mm-mm.
Who does
I
that?
I was I would say this: it's cool to fantasize in your head, but when you first meet a person, you can't load all of that on the person. They don't know what's going on. They don't know about your level of delusion. Like if you want to like do that level, just like sprinkle it along the relationship, assuming that they want to be in a relationship with you. But you can't all just walk up to somebody in the middle of like Wegmans or something and be like, "Hey, do you remember me from elementary school? We used to square this like this one time, and I picture you having all of our babies and this, that, whatever." I would run too, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a little much. That's a little
So
much.
here's the thing. I don't think the person's an a-hole per se, because I feel like there's something very specific about being an a-hole. But I think the person's very socially awkward and just creepy. And I don't think the person's intentionally trying to be an a-hole, but I think they are unintentionally creepy and they need to learn some social skills and
That
some social
that
cues, because you definitely don't do that. So I like I hope I don't piss anyone off, but I do wonder if the person's slightly autistic or something like that. Like
you.
it just
I
feels
don't know why I
They're
thought
very
that
not.
too.
They're not.
They're not.
Somebody asked in the comments and was like, "Oh, are you just socially unaware?" And this person is like, "No, I'm not socially unaware. I'm not on the spectrum. There's nothing wrong with me." I think for me, it's the fact that he called 10 minutes later to tell her the name of the children. And then he thought, like, she blocked me. So maybe I should just go by her office because we work right down the street from each other.
Yeah, see,
Like,
that's a red flag right there.
Yeah, it's a red
I'm
flag.
picking out ding dongs and you turned out to be a ding dong. Like, yo, I got problems.
Exactly. And speaking of picking out names, little monster, how you get your name?
Oh,
Oh,
um,
I've seen you.
it's it's complicated.
It's not at all complicated.
It's not complicated, monster.
I'm not as shy as I look right now. That's all I'm gonna say.
Everybody's aware of Cookie Monster, right?
Yes.
Well, this would be Lotus Monster.
L-
oh my.
So I want to hear about torn corneas and things like that.
Oh yeah, we do need to talk about that.
No, we don't. Is YouTube off?
It's
No, I think they're
it's
No,
still
like
it's
it's
live
not
on
off.
after hours
YouTube.
now. We can talk about that.
Wait, is YouTube still on?
Oh, what you say?
Are we offline like everywhere?
No, we're just off of my TikTok. But we are still on YouTube. We are still on YouTube. Should we
Oh,
should we
before
talk about her monster a little bit, or we'll keep it silent?
we'll let Monster think about that real quick. Like let her
Yeah,
put
we
her
can
story
talk about
together.
it. It was just family in the dungeon, so it was fine.
It was yeah. So we call ourselves if you're in the dungeon world, we call ourselves family, and and the family had an after party. No, the family was just chilling. We were just chilling like family. We had some, we were just in the dungeon after all these scenes happened. And
It
all
was
of a
like
sudden, a little monster and Sir Knotty started, he suspended her. And oh, it kind of went crazy from that point.
Crazy for who?
There was what do you call that, Sir Knotty? Hydraulic dildo? What do you call that that you pulled out of the bag?
Wait, what?
what was it?
We got machinery involved?
There was
Oh,
machinery.
It was a massage gun attachment with the dildo. Like, it was.
you're familiar with like the Theraguns, right? The
Right.
impact guns you use for
Yes.
your
Uh
muscles.
huh.
Yeah. So there is an attachment that you can print off with a 3D printer for that adapts that to most dildos.
A
I'm
Um,
sorry.
3D
What?
printer.
Send me that
yes,
link. Send me that link. Send me that link.
that. So you print that off and you
You
attach
print
your.
it?
Yes, yes.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's got the little machine like with the
She went
little
to go
plastic
find it.
thing, and it makes a yeah. It makes anything. 3D printers can make anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go. I got a
Keep
3D
talking.
printer.
Keep
So
3D.
that's what we had. And
So that was from a 3D printer, Sir Naughty?
Just the attachment
Just
part.
the attachment. Okay.
Right. So
Hmm.
VacuLock is the name. There's a couple of different dildo attachment systems for like strap-on harnesses and stuff like
we can
that.
show the actual massage gun without the. Can't we?
Yeah, you
That
can. Yeah, if you want to, it's up to you guys. If you want to show something,
Yeah, you want to
yeah,
show
sure.
us?
let's show and tell.
We gonna watch.
I think it's in
We-
the bedroom closet.
Welcome to YouTube. That's why my shows are over 18, sir. Oh my goodness me.
Yeah.
How
Why
they
we
were
always gotta
like,
throw a content warning on occasion.
oh Lord, this is a good one. I
It's a
just
little
love it.
far, but
Okay,
There,
what you got?
there's a lot of uh, there's a lot of tops that are available to work the cruises.
Hmm.
So every now and then, with properly vetted tops that are passengers, um, they get a chance. We have two people on board the cruises that will actually like pro bottom in a scene.
Hmm.
Monster and Andy. Um,
I
so
think I have Andy. No, I'm shooting Andy live on the cruise. Actually, they're Em and Carla are coming on.
oh, awesome.
Yeah. Now I have to. I'm gonna tell people about Andy. Andy is like, how tall is Andy? 6'5".
Yeah, he's
He's
at least I would think.
and
Oh, that's a big boy.
he is married to a woman that's 4'10". I think.
That's
Tiniest
a
little thing
dynamic.
ever.
Tiniest little thing ever, but the most proficient dame I've ever seen in my life. And he's a
Oh,
he's a fire jack. What is jumps out airplanes.
Oh wow.
Oh,
And
nice.
you would not think that this man
Oh,
is a
he is all
bottom,
about the thrill. All
but
about the thrill.
he will drop on his knees and whatever you want, he will do. I'm like, Andy, stop. But go not but don't. But go ahead, Sir Naughty. Let me shut up.
So Monster was bottoming for I think it was it Vicky?
I think it was Vicky. Yes, it was Vicky.
It was Vicky and Dr. Val, and Dr. Val got in there and showed Monster a couple of tricks herself.
So
Well,
I was teaching. I was actually found Monster's G spot on her abdomen, which we call the conception vessel, and all I did was press it, and my God, did Monster
Oh,
turn into?
first off, before you go any further, for
Uh-huh.
those of you who aren't aware of this whole pressing on your belly for a G spot, we talked about this on the show
We
a
did.
little while back. So you guys, I can't remember what episode this is, but you guys are gonna have to go back into our episodes so you can understand what they mean by that conception spot.
Absolutely. So I found that spot, and oh Lord, it was like a button.
Did you turn the
And
button on, Dot Val?
whoo, Lord Jesus, Monster. She was little, then she became Grand Monster. And before you knew it, I mean, our little family, we we became kissing cousins.
So, am I understanding that this is where like the scene became a group activity, and I'm always wondering about logistics about how does this kick off?
Probably, I think so. It was just a night to remember where I don't even know what time we ended. It was all family, all dungeon masters and pro subs and and somehow like I ripped my cornea. I don't know. I think Little Monster threw me around. I don't know how that happened.
I can refresh your memory on how that happened. So this whole scene was happening while we had Monster suspended in rope. Um, Time for Monster to come down out of rope, and Dr. Val had her very energetic.
It was a lot of energy.
Uh, Dr. Val went over. We did have a bed in the dungeon set up. Dr. Val went over to sit on that bed as I untied Monster. Um, as I was untying Monster, I let her know that if it works on her, it should work on Dr. Val too.
Oh, oh, this is tit for tat. Oh
Pearls are
my!
clutched. Pearls are clutched.
So then the
All the
other
pearls
part
are
of
clutched.
Monster came out.
And
The
you,
buttons were being pressed.
I will say, of all of my years, right? I don't know why, I never thought about my own spot. All these years,
Because you
never
thought
thought
you were
about it.
protected. That's why.
I guess it's a little monster found that spot, and I and it was a night to remember. I tell you, people, people still talk about that. And it was a really good night. So I will tell you what, this couple, please follow them on Instagram. Not only are they just fun to learn from and master at what they do, but they are just good people and they have just good energy. And you guys have been amazing. Thank you so much. And I get to hug up on you in a few weeks, guys.
Oh
Yay.
wait! Before we get off of
Yes.
here, we do have a couple of questions.
Okay. I'm
We
sorry,
can
love.
we can knock them out real quick.
Do you have time
So,
yet? You guys
do
good with
you,
time?
Sir Nadia and
Yeah, we're
Monster,
good.
okay?
Okay.
Okay. So let me run through these real quick. So, one of the questions was, can you start off as a rigger instead of a sub? And I think she meant a rigger instead of a dom. And do you have to be a rigger and a dom because she feels like that's a lot of energy in one spot? And another question, if you guys are okay with saying what they are, what are your zodiac signs?
Oh, that we'll knock off the second one first, and then he can answer the first one. I'm a Pisces, and he's a Taurus.
Okay.
Knew it.
You're the second male Taurus that I know that's a dom. Now I got other questions, but anyways, we're gonna go. We're gonna keep going.
Um, uh, like I had mentioned earlier, I did not become a Dom until my early 30s. I actually went through two vanilla marriages before I realized that structuring my life that way just wasn't going to work for me. I was, however, also a rigger at that time, so I was tying for photo shoots and at different events and things, and for people that just asked. um, I was just a pervert with rope who kind of existed
Pervert with
on the fringe
you're
of
not.
the BDSM lifestyle. um, I was aware of it, but it wasn't really anything that I was interested in. It seemed like a lot of work um, to do it. Uh, so yes, you can be a rigger and not be a dom. You can be a dom and not be a rigger. You can be a rigger and be a sub. There's many people out there that do self ties and that kind of thing for themselves. Um, I think some of that has evolved out of um, some of the concerns that you have when doing this kind of activity that requires such a level of trust, where people have had bad experiences. um, most of the self tires I know are young women who have had a bad experience, so they were just decided that they wanted to teach themselves how to do it to themselves,
Mm.
rather than trust somebody else and be vulnerable for somebody else like that. um, did I get all the parts of that question? That was.
I think you
I
did.
think you
Thank you
did.
so much.
Thank you guys. You guys are just like an amazing couple. Make sure you follow them YouTube on Instagram. We want to see their accounts explode. And like I said, you guys out there, stay safe and play safe. Sir Nadia Monster again. Round of applause to you guys for just being open. And we are done for the night, guys. Bye bye for now.